What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy, and today we're looking into Game Week 33. We've got a Q&A, your questions taken from YouTube and Twitter, 7 in total to go through. I know every week I say I won't do a Q&A next week because of time, but it's Easter Monday, extra day off work, so I've got time to record it. This will be going out on Tuesday, so obviously I'm doing it quite early in the week because that's when I've got the time to do it. But there could be more info from press conferences, European matches, injuries and stuff like that. But obviously we can cover that in the preview if anything changes. Hopefully the questions that I've taken today are quite broad, and I've given the answers to them. So there's 7 altogether. Let's just jump straight into it. So this question's about Harry Kane. Specifically, have my thoughts changed on not signing him for the double game week? Obviously, that's what I've said that I'm going to do in previous streams and videos and stuff like that. I had loads of questions on Harry Kane from both Twitter and YouTube, so thanks for all those. I still think if you've wildcarded already and your team's already set, that you can probably wait for Harry Kane. I think, yes, he's playing Stoke away, but we don't know for sure if he's going to start. I did actually have a look at transfermarket.ie, and to be fair to Kane, generally he just doesn't get injured that often. And when he does, he generally only misses the next match, and then he's back fully fit, ready to play. Now, we'll have to wait to see what Pochettino says in the press conference on him. He may say that he's fully fit and ready to start if called upon. They've obviously got the FA Cup semi-final and a Man City game to worry about as well soon. I think there's actually a chance that he starts against Stoke, but for me, if I'm going to take extra transfers now to bring him in, then I want to captain him. And Salah's got Everton away. I wouldn't mind captaining him there, even though he's potentially got reduced minutes to come. And I've already got Aubameyang, who's got playing Southampton, who are really bad at the moment, in a poor run of form. He's got penalties now as well, so I think Aubameyang looks pretty good. So do I want to spend transfers taking him out just to get Kane in? When I also don't think that Kane's double game week in 34 is that great. Man City at home, Brighton away. For me, Lukaku's West Brom at home, Bournemouth away is much better fixture-wise. That's not to say Harry Kane won't score goals. If he plays, he does score goals. It's just whether he'll do enough. Will he get another back-to-back hat-trick? Obviously, if he does, that's going to fully punish you. But if it's just a couple of goals here or there, then the money saved could work out better. So I've seen people say, for example, they'll have to downgrade Gross, or they'll have to downgrade Son or Willian, and you know, they might not be bad options, but you've got those players in, not just for Game Week 32, not just for 33, but also for Game Week 34. So for my own team, I would have to change Mustafi and Aubameyang, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. I've already got plans to take both of them out in Game Week 34 anyway. But I'd also have to downgrade Gross as well. So straight away, I'm losing an extra double Game Week player potentially to put in someone who's worse. Will Gross be okay in Game Week 34? Maybe. His fixtures aren't the greatest, but he is probably going to play twice and is on a lot of set pieces, so I like that move. So I don't know if I want to bring in Harry Kane earlier. I don't think my opinions have changed. It's going to be sofa time, yes, of course, he's a great player. But for me, I think I'm still going to go for Lukaku in Game Week 34 and stick to the plan of bringing Kane in Game Week 36 when he's got Watford at home, nice double game week, and then a good end to the season, and hopefully he'll be my triple captain in Game Week 37. So not saying he won't score goals, but for me right now, nothing's changed for me. If you want to bring him in, of course, if you're on a wild card or something like that, that's a bit different. You probably would bring him in. I think he'll play against Stoke, but there is always the risk that he may not. So this question is about Chelsea and Man City assets moving forward. Obviously, has anything changed following Game Week 32? So first of all, Man City players, yes, they did really well. I don't think anyone was expecting them to do poorly. They were always going to get goals, assists, etc. The thing is, not one player kind of went mad. You know, they were all in on the action. De Bruyne, Sterling, Sané, Jesus. So the points were kind of split. So I don't feel like I was punished by one particular player. And because they've got Spurs and Man United next, I'm not too concerned about having their players in yet. Obviously, they play in Game Week 35, but I've got the free hit. If you don't, then maybe, yes, you might look at either having one of their players or bringing them in Game Week 35. But for me, they're kind of Game Week 36 and onwards. We still need to know what's going to happen in the Champions League when they play Liverpool. Obviously, if they do really well in that match, if they go through, etc., then we may see more rotation. Pep's already said he's going to rotate against Man United and probably field a slightly weaker team. Now, do Man City have a weaker team? I don't know, but obviously the likes of Sterling and Sané could get a rest. So for me, I'm avoiding Man City for now. They're ones for Game Week 36 and 37 when I've got a bit more info. Obviously, their double game week in 37 is going to be Huddersfield and Brighton at home, which is brilliant. So I want a Man City player for that. It's just a case of which one. And right now, I cannot make that decision. So nothing's changed on that front. Chelsea obviously disappointing against Spurs. But I've said on other videos I wasn't expecting too many points from that match. Willian obviously becomes a bit of a concern because I knew when I got him in that there's a possibility that Pedro or someone like that might come in. So for me, they're a wait and see. Going to see what happens in Game Week 33 against West Ham at home. Will there be rotation? If not, how well do they play? And obviously, if Willian then does well against West Ham, I'm more confident going into the double game week. I've got Alonso as well. I think you can just hold him. I don't think he's going to get rotated too much. I don't think Emerson probably comes in for any matches, if alone 1 or 2. So I think for Chelsea, hold on now. But yes, I don't think they've necessarily got nothing to play for. Top 4 is still on, even though it's super difficult to get there. Obviously, they got the FA Cup, but they're 8 points behind top 4 spots, so it's not over yet. There's still 7 game weeks to go, 7 matches to go for them. But yeah, that is going to be difficult. So I would definitely hold on if you're thinking about getting Chelsea players in. Maybe just stick to 1 rather than getting 2 or 3. If you've already got them, I think they're a hold for now. So what to do with Eric Bailly now? Obviously, if people had him in their team at the weekend, he didn't play. To be honest, it's a bit unlucky. I thought he was going to play. In general, like, I've not got a Man United defender myself because there is just too much chance of rotation there. If you've already got them, though, which a lot of you will have, I think you just keep the one you've got. Obviously, Valencia's going to get the most minutes, you'd imagine. Smalling possibly could be the next most nailed on, but we just don't know that for sure. So if you've got Bailly, for me, if you bought in a Man United defender, you shouldn't have been expecting too many points in Game Week 33 against Man City anyway. So I think Bailly will probably play that. He is our strongest defender on his day. That's going to be the hardest fixture we've got, Man City. So I think he'll play in that game. And then I think you've just got to hope for the best in the double game week that he'll play at least 1 and get a clean sheet. I don't think there's too much value in using transfers right now to chop them in and out, because depending on what happens in the FA Cup, you know, if Man United go out of the FA Cup, then potentially the 2 most nailed on centre-backs could become Bailly and Jones, Bailly and Smalling, and they could see out the remainder of the season. So for me, I would hold now if you've got them. If you haven't, I don't think I would go there. If you've not got a Man United defender, I would look at David De Gea to get into your team. Otherwise, I would ignore the defenders. There's just too much chance of rotation. Yes, Smalling looks like good value if he plays, but I don't think anyone for 100% certainty can say that will carry on for the rest of the season. So captains for the next couple of game weeks, we're looking kind of at game week 33 and 34, and I'll probably include 35, although I think that's going to be Salah in 35, unless you're confident of captaining a Man City player. In game week 33, it's interesting. Like, I'd generally be on Salah, obviously because he's done so well this season. But Aubameyang's just put in 2 goals. Yes, Arsenal are going to rotate their team probably around Europe, but he should play. They're playing Southampton, who are in really poor form right now. He's on penalties. He's done really well in the Premier League so far. I think it's like 5 goals in 6 games. So yeah, Aubameyang for me could be an option for this week. Even Kane, if you bring in Kane, Harry Kane could be an option against Stoke away if you're confident he's going to play. And then in game week 34, we finally get a rest from captain and Salah. I think even though they play Bournemouth, most people will go for a double game week player. So you've got like some Mahrez, who could be quite nice. Man United asset, Lukaku or Sanchez. They've got West Brom at home, Bournemouth away, really good fixtures. You could go Chelsea. I think right now the state that Chelsea are in, and they've got 2 away games, Burnley and Southampton, is not the best idea, but you could go there. And obviously Harry Kane against Man City at home and Brighton away is an option in game week 34 for sure. My captains for the next couple of game weeks, I think I'm going to go Aubameyang this week, even though I'll be behind the sofa for the first game of the week, which is Liverpool, obviously watching to see how Salah does. And then in game week 34, my current plan is to captain Lukaku, although if I had a better way to get Sanchez, I'd look at captaining him instead. So someone asked a question about Alexis Sanchez. As you can imagine, I absolutely had to include it in this video. The question is he now an option for 34 and 37? And is it worth taking out Salah or downgrading Gross and Alonso? Now, I'm assuming the second part of that question about who to take out is to fund Sanchez. So straight away, let's talk about his price. He's probably overpriced at 11.5 million for the output that he's returned this season. And you would say he's overpriced. He's not been in great form. Not done too well at United. United haven't really fit him in properly. Seems to be struggling to get into the kind of home life in Manchester and stuff like that. So definitely overpriced, but he's just got a haul against Swansea. And this is what I like about midfielders. A goal and an assist has netted him 14 points because he's got the 3 bonus points and he's got the clean sheet. Obviously, he gets the extra point for a goal over what a striker would do. So that's quite a nice haul for only a goal and assist. So if you could go on to do more than that in the double game week, we could look at a big score. Now, it depends on the structure of your team. So for me, if you're already spending kind of 11.6 million on someone like Lukaku, then Sanchez is definitely an option. In the same team, an attacker as well, can do as well as Lukaku. It depends on the structure. So right now, for example, I've got Lukaku and Gross. That would have to be Sanchez and Murray instead. So do I think Murray is a better option than Gross? Possibly. They're probably quite similar. But then you've got to look at further transfers. So if you're going to bring in Lukaku and then you want to bring in Harry Kane, that's great. You could leave yourself enough money in the bank, just do the Lukaku to Kane transfer. If you've got Sanchez, and that money for Kane is wrapped up in him, then you've got to make 2 transfers to switch that back to the strike force to then get Harry Kane in. So it's not as straightforward as just Lukaku versus Sanchez. There are other things to consider, structure of your team especially. But I think if you're getting one, you've got to consider the other one. And I do like midfielders, captaining them in double game weeks because they get those extra points for clean sheets and goals and stuff like that. And we've seen what Sanchez can do in the past. So I don't think he's suddenly become an awful player, but obviously he's not in the greatest run of form. But that game against Swansea was nice. Watch out how he does against Man City. Man City could rotate. United should go for the kill, even though they're probably not going to want to lose that game, so they're going to park the bus. But if Sanchez turns up with another good score, maybe gets a goal, maybe he looks better than in previous games this season, he could be worth a look at for Game Week 34. Should you downgrade Gross and Alonso? I don't know if that's a good idea. You're just trying to find a lot of money for one player, and that's going to weaken your team, especially if you're looking to bench boost and stuff like that in Game Week 34. So I don't know if you need to go for massive downgrades to get him in, but if you've already got the money there and the structure to do it, I would definitely consider him over Lukaku. So questions about Charlie Austin. Is he a good option for Game Week 34 and onwards? Anyone who's watched my videos and streams in the past knows that I love Charlie Austin as an option. I've always kind of said that if he's fully fit, he's always my 3rd striker option. He's always the one I'd want to go for. The only problem is right now, he's just come back from injury. We don't quite know how he's going to perform. He's 5.8 million, so it is quite cheap. But Southampton are in really poor form. They brought in Mark Hughes, who wasn't doing too great at Stoke. In fact, Mark Hughes could relegate Stoke and Southampton in the same year, which would be pretty impressive. They played West Ham away. Obviously, away games are always a bit tougher than home games, but you'd expect them to do something. But they just didn't look very good against West Ham at all, and I worry about them going forward. They've got pretty poor fixtures until kind of game week, I think, 36 onwards, when they get a little bit better. I think they play Bournemouth in game week 36, and then they got the double game week in 37. So you could consider him going forward. I don't want to be bringing him in for the double game week in 34 unless he shows me something in 33. And it is, like I said, he's got tough fixtures. So for me, he's a no-go right now. Even though he does have a really good scoring record. I've just seen a tweet actually where I think he scores like every 113 minutes this season, which is better than some of the really popular picks we made. But he's just come back from injury. They've got a new manager in. How is he going to perform? Southampton not doing too well. There's just too many question marks over him. And you can get Ashley Barnes for less money. Has a game in game week 35. Nice fixtures in 36. A double game week in 34 with 2 home games for less money. He's just in form right now. I find it hard to go for Austin. But he has had a really good record in the past. And I do like him as a player. So I can see why you consider him. At 5.8 million, it's maybe not too much of a risk. And he's got 2 double game weeks. So I thought I'd include a bit more of a random question that I got at the end. Have I enjoyed FPL this season? Obviously, this is asked by Jamie. He says he's found it to be the most draining season in recent years, while it's been especially difficult to make big progress in terms of overall rank. I've included a picture of Jesus for no good reason other than I just quite like that picture. I find it quite funny, and I had it hanging around. So Jesus is in, but he's got nothing to do with this question. I think generally people's kind of enjoyment of FPL is all based on how well they've been doing. I've seen people on Twitter say that they're going to quit. You check their rank, they've had a poor season, they come back next year, they're still playing, they have a better season, suddenly they're tweeting every week, letting you know their progress, how well they're doing. And you don't see that when they're having a poor game week or a poor overall season. So I think generally, if you're having a poor season, you're probably not enjoying FPL. I mean, at the end of the day, winning is fun. At least for me, I enjoy winning. I want to do well in overall rank. I want to do well in mini leagues. So I've enjoyed it. I enjoy it every season. Like, if you've watched my streams since I started, when I started streaming, I was on a really poor rank, and I took that on towards the end of the season. I did really well. So obviously it was nice towards the end of the season to do that well. And I'm hoping to do the same this season. But I have been in the position where I've been outside the top 100k for most of the season. It's happened at least once. And yeah, the enjoyment isn't as good because you start second guessing stuff. Things go wrong. It feels like you can't make any decision correct. Everyone else is bragging about how well they're doing. It can get frustrating. So I do fully appreciate that. But yes, it is tough this year. There's more players than ever. Obviously, every million or extra players we get, obviously a small percentage of them are kind of what you call hardcore or dedicated like us. A lot of them will just be casuals who'll just go away as the season goes on and just won't play as much anymore. But every million or so extra players they get, there will be that percentage which are more dedicated to the game and they want to do well. And yes, it will become harder. There's more info out there. Official FPL are now pumping out more info. There's more people doing YouTube than ever. There's always new FPL Twitter accounts. They're all giving out information. And although a lot of it can be the same sometimes, it does mean that info is getting to people more often than it was before. So yes, it's more difficult. But at the same time, if you can get a good rank, that's more satisfying. So I'm top 40k right now, or just outside. If I can get into the top 10k, that'll feel like a really big win at this point in a season that has been difficult. And when there's a player like Salah, who someone's captaining every single week, because he's getting points, that makes it more difficult as well. So I think he's actually made it quite tedious, because those that are ahead have been able to stay ahead by just captaining him every week. Whereas last season, yes, there's always going to be those players you captain all the time, Sanchez and Kane and Aguero spring to mind. But last season there was a bit of variation, and that could get you up the ranks. Whereas this season we haven't had that so much. So hopefully that'll change in the run-in. But I still think we're going to captain Salah most weeks, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. It can be draining at times, FPL. That just happens. I think you just got to stick with it and wait for the good times. All it takes is that one big game week to get you up the ranks, and suddenly you feel like all the decisions you make are correct. You know what you're going to do for the rest of the season, and you can just kick on from there. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you don't find it as draining and the run-in. If not, come back next year refreshed, and we'll go again. So that's the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Obviously got through as many questions as possible. I probably missed some, so if you do have an additional question, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and get to it throughout this week. Obviously there'll be streams and previews to come this week, so anything that's new or that's answered or asked in the comments, I may get through in those videos, so keep an eye out for them. And we'll be streaming on Thursday, so if you have got anything additional at that point, hop into the chat on the live stream, ask the question. I'll try and get to as many as I can in those as well. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button, much appreciated. If you're new around here, subscribe, leave a comment below, let me know any questions you got, any opinions on the video, always appreciated. I'll leave it there. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers everyone.